Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And welcome to your Moon in Virgo transit video for this current lunar cycle. I had a couple of themes that came up today. I thought about the cacti and the desert, and I thought about how the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes I feel like we use that latter one, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes I feel like we use that as an excuse to not make a change, to not do something different, to not go into territory, a realm, or to a place that may be better for us. And yes, there are times where we may jump the fence, jump the gun, and go over to those other hills because we think they may be greener, and they may not be as green. But if we cultivate the grass on that side, it could end up being greener than where we were. I think that's what happens a lot of times, is that we are afraid of the hard work. We feel like saying the grass isn't always green on the other side. We go over to the other side, and maybe it's not, maybe it's not the green that we want it to be. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's more of like a lime green. But maybe if we cultivate that grass on the other side, kind of work on the field a bit, it could end up being that emerald green. It could end up producing fruits and vegetables that just, like the sustenance and just the energy that they provide can be exactly what we really need to move forward. And I also thought about the cacti. We have a couple of cacti in here, small cacti. And I was thinking about like how, in the desert, it's just seemingly an arid and desolate place, but there's still so much vibrancy in the desert. And these cacti, these plants that grow there, they have to protect themselves with these spines so they can conserve the moisture and the water that they hold. And they hold so much water. And not only that, but they have the flowers that bloom on them as well. And it's funny because, a lot of times, when the moon comes out, these cacti flowers, they will bloom and they will show their radiance and their color. And I believe that the cacti is a good symbol for resiliency and also just, of course, protecting ourselves, but this resiliency to move through arid conditions or to move through places that may seem desolate. I think a lot of times what happens is that when we want to move forward and make a change, we feel like, we may have to expunge our current resources a little bit. You have to take a risk. Oh, there's a red cardinal over there. I happen to be wearing red. But we feel like we may have to take a risk. We may feel like we have to spend a little bit to gain more. And we may feel like we have to, like I said, expunge our resources a little bit. And that is necessary. It is necessary to give before we can receive. And when it comes to making a change in our life, when it comes to doing something different, when it comes to manifestation, especially like I said with this moon in Virgo, it's going to be creating a grand earth trine. We just got off of the grand fire trine actually with the moon in Leo. Now we're getting the grand earth trine. So it's like we get the divine inspiration with the fire, and now it's time for the divine manifestation with the earth. This grand earth trine is going to be trining over to the sun in Taurus, is going to be trining over to all of this Capricorn energy, and this is actually going to create a grand, it's going to create a kite as well, because we'll have the grand earth trine, and then of course we'll have the North Node in Cancer, making aspects to the Taurus energy and to the moon, and of course opposing all of that Capricorn energy. So this is going to be really a transit where we can take flight, but we have to be willing to allow some of this wind and some of this air to kind of get up under us and actually carry us. And we can't be afraid to go to those heights when it comes to this manifestation. We can't be afraid to try and go to the other side, maybe to go to the other hills to see if the grass is greener. And if it's not greener, put in the work, because perhaps that field of grass, that patch of grass, just hasn't received the love and care that it needs to be that emerald green and to produce that amazing, magnificent fruit. So don't be afraid to put in the work. Also, do not be afraid to go into places that may feel arid or desolate. Perhaps you're the one that is meant to bring that vibrancy and life to that space. That is it for your reading. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to astrofenixx.com. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.